and welcome to chapter 2 of The Bigger Picture. Life after death? My thoughts about life after death at that time were really that I had no bloody idea. I was young, just 29 years old, so to be honest, I didn't give death an awful lot of thought. After all, I was young and had many years ahead of me. I was still in that I'm invincible stage. Like many, I had lost a few people close to me, and although I grieved, I still didn't think too much about what happened after they died. That was until I lost my first baby. My granddad died when I was about 3 years old, and Mum told me he'd gone to heaven to be with the angels, but would always watch over me. So from that age, I suppose I sort of thought death was simply going to another place. My nan died when I was about 14, but although I was upset, she was old and she had breast cancer. We had moved away from the area a few years earlier, so I didn't see her that often. So it wasn't such an impact on my daily life. I felt sad when I thought about her, but to be honest, that wasn't too often during my teenage years. I remember when I was in my late teens, a boy I knew quite well was killed in a motorbike accident, and I found that tough. I had a hard time accepting that I would never see him again. There he was one minute and gone the next. He wasn't old, wasn't ill, and to my mind, it wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't really understand then that your time was your time, no matter how old you were. It was a bit like having a sell-by date. My biggest loss was when my mum died. I had just turned 18 and she still lived at home. I still lived at home. So not having her in my life anymore was major. Dad took me to the Chapel of Rest on the day of the funeral to say my final goodbyes. That was the first time I'd ever seen a dead body. She looked peaceful, but she had been ill for a long time. She looked more like she was sleeping, and I just wanted to wake her up. I remember calling her, but not a flicker. I grieved for a long time. The final picture of her body still remains with me. I used to talk to Mum a lot after she'd gone. I remember when I first found out I was pregnant, I sat on top of the stairs, crying tears of joy and saying something along the lines of, "Oh, Mum, I've only gone and done it. What do I do now?" Little did I know then that into my 8th month of pregnancy, I was to lose my son. It was at that point that I started to think more about life after death and whether it existed or not. It was hard for me to accept that when someone died, they were gone and that was it. I could just about accept that the body had gone. But what about the person, the personality, the essence that makes you, you? Surely that can't just be wiped out. I began to hope that my baby, although he had never lived in this world, had gone to heaven and was with Grandad and the angels. And if Grandad was there, then surely Mum had to be there too. And even though my baby hadn't lived, he would still have a little personality too, wouldn't he? So many questions that I wanted answers to. And now that I had been to the spiritualist church, perhaps I could get some of those questions answered. Chief Seattle said, "There is no death. There is only a change of worlds." See you in chapter 3.